Okay, so I'm bad at this. Also, you can tell like 6, so like that's annoying, and being kind of I'm kind of out of it. But either way, I will be reading this. But first, I want to discuss this video. Basically, yeah, it's sort of Rebecca Rogers' channel. It's a am I the asshole thing, and I.
Atheism onto my child. I'm 39, non-binary, am an atheist, and my daughter, 7 years old, is a Christian. One day she came home from church and
Remember
told me
that's
that
7.
the congregation was doing a mass baptism for all the kids that wanted to do it, but they have to ask their parents' permissions first.
Kids.
All of her friends were going to be
All
baptized,
friends.
and she wanted to do it too. I grew up in a fundamentalist Christian household, and I have a lot of religious trauma, but I also understand that this is
Not
a
relevant,
big
but
milestone for every young
really
Christian.
understands that.
My daughter has demonstrated a thorough enough understanding
She's
of
7.
this decision. I said that I would fully support and even attend her baptism if she just waited until she was a little old enough to fully understand this ritual. My spouse, however, upset at me. They said that I was not only depriving her of a childhood social
A childhood social experience.
atheism on her.
Childhood.
Am I the bad apple for pushing?
Okay, so yeah, church shouldn't have done this. Like, just straight up, the church shouldn't have. Like, yeah, you put it out there to like teenagers. Not a childhood experience. Every fact that the father even said childhood experience is no, you are not a child when this happens. Like, this is one of your first adult decisions you'll ever make. You should not be making that when you're not even considered a teenager. Like, no, this is an adult decision to be made. This isn't a childhood experience. This is an adult decision. Honestly, the mother is making a bigger deal out of this than the father, and actually respecting this tradition a lot more. Like, they are actually being in regards to this ritual, they are being the better Christian. Like, both my parents are Christians. I first brought up the idea of getting confirmed. Well, like, because I was baptized when I was born, it was going to be confirmation as baptism. It was me saying I wanted to get baptized, but without the actual baptism. There was denominational mischief. Basically, I was getting baptized. I was declaring myself a Christian, and I brought that up when I was 12. I ended up being 13 when I actually got confirmed, whatever. But basically, when I brought it up to them, they're like, hey, let's sit on it a few weeks. Let's talk about this. Like, are you really, like, come back to us in a few weeks? And I think I might have been younger, but they were like, come back to us later, because, my mom didn't grow up in a Christian, my mom was very much her own, like, she wasn't taken to church, she went to church. She chose to go to church. Like, her parents didn't take her, but she was technically baptized. But anyway, but my father was basically, he was kind of forced into becoming, getting confirmed, whatever, at 12. Like, that was just a thing that he had to do. And yeah, he's very much a Christian now, but it was kind of like a thing of like, yeah, I don't want to put you through that. And both my parents are very much like, this is your decision. I was the one who brought the topic up. No one else brought the topic up. Like, I knew it was a thing, but I was the one who brought the topic up. And they're still like, we want to just wait a bit, because we don't want you to feel like we're pressuring you into this. And we don't want anyone else to think that as well. Like, could have also been a perception thing. They didn't want other people to think that they were forcing Christianity onto their child. Even though I was the one who brought the topic up in the first place and was like, there's nothing wrong with this. You dare tell me that, you dare tell my parents that they can tell me what, like, I was actually very, like, aggressive about it. Like, someone got mad at this, they would be annoying. But it's kind of like, oh, but guess what this church is doing? It's basically, it's not just suggested this, because, yeah, you tell the young kids that this is something that will happen. When they're older, you do not allow 7-year-olds to do this. Like, no, just no, you are pressuring the child. Like, even people who've gotten confirmed at, like, 16, I'm not 16, yes, no, not 16, but, like, 12, or actually older, like 4 years older, have felt pressured into this, gone and left the church and come back and actually gone rebaptized, because it's like, I don't, like, technically, like, I've done it, but also at the same time, no, I didn't do it, because it wasn't my choice, and I didn't feel it. Like, you're not even in high school, like, 2 years into schooling, like, no. Yeah, like, basically, like, the only thing I could, like, the mother is definitely not the bad apple. The mother is, like, top tier parenting in this. Everyone at the church, for even, like, no, like, they are the assholes. Like, because it's not the kid's choice. The kid is like, it's a social event. And like, yeah, well, baptisms are a social event. It's a social event in the fact that all your family and friends and everyone gathers and it's like a big celebration thing. Like, I had a big afternoon tea and there was like a party and there was cake and I got presents, which was like, I've got 2 crosses, which were, actually, I technically lost one of the crosses, but like, I got, like, my grandparents gave me cross necklaces and I got a book and and I got a book from, and things like I got a few different and when I got a Christian book and I got a Bible and like people gave me like mementos and like there are a few Bible verses all highlighted throughout this, I think, or like underlined or whatever, like, or maybe it was another Bible, I don't know. This is my main Bible. I got it when I was confirmed, definitely, but I think I might have been using another Bible at the time, but anyway, highlighted their favorite verses, so I knew, and I honestly have no idea where they are or what they are anymore. But like that was the kind of thing. Like they gave me devotional books. It was a big celebration. It was a big thing, and yeah, it was a bit of a social event. It wasn't a social event because my friends were doing it with me. In fact, sure they were up to. In fact, there was actually weirdly like, even though I was the only person my age at the church and even close to my age, because I go to a Christian school, my mum. But my mom was also the minister, so it's like she didn't want to actually give me the lessons to make it a bit thingy, like not like like they actually take you through a certain course you have to do before you do it. Like you have to answer all these questions. They talk about how big a deal it is. They talk about a bit of your faith and like whether or not this is actually a big commitment that you want to do. Like kind of like you actually want to do this. And I did that through school, and then so some other people at school who were doing it also came in, and my mum baptized everyone because school can't actually baptize people because they're not a thing. But it was like we did kind of do it that way because it was a bit easier. I was a minister's kid. It would have been awkward if my mum was doing it because then it would have been sus, especially like I was young, and then and it didn't help that my next step was to then immediately take political roles in like not political roles, but like I immediately like got myself very involved in like the more politics side of the church that's definitely for adults, and I was like yes, and they're like that could have easily been like very sus and like this is someone's being religiously traumatized and being forced into this, and it's like no, I'm a headstrong child who's decided they want to take over the world because you can do it at any age. But a 7-year-old doesn't feel that way, and even now, like I don't. Like, sure, I was definitely a Christian then. That's when my Christian journey started. Like, that's when I definitely, everything, that's when I first took the step. But let's be honest, like, I could have waited a few more years and everything would have been fine. Like, I am, like, my Christian, like, my actual, like, sure, that's when my Christian journey started, but, like, active faith and, like, getting better at my faith and actually, like, didn't happen until, like, I was out of high school and, like, other stuff happened in my life that made me go, yeah, this is, like, I was already on the path, but, like, other stuff had to happen before I was, like, fully, like, yeah, this is great. I just, you know what, I'm actually not going to read this, because this is nearly 10 minutes long anyway, but yeah, that's the other end of, like, it's really important. Baptism's, like, a really important thing, or confirmation or whatever, like, that's a really big deal. And the idea that they're making light of it and allowing 7-year-olds, it's just like, oh, it grates on my nerves. Like, no, you. While, like, I don't doubt, and here's the thing you also need to understand. I don't doubt her faith. I don't doubt the child's faith. Because a childlike faith is wondrous. The problem is, a childlike faith can wear thin. The world is a dark place, and if your childlike faith hasn't been put to the test, and it probably can't have been at that age, and maybe it's easier because of that, because you're atheist mum, whatever, but here's the other truth. It's not just you, like, that, your child actually might be one of the ones best suited to actually take that, because, like, you're an atheist, and, like, that will be represented within the household. But the other kids, they might actually be much more forced to it. And it's like, I would actively going, this is wrong for the church. Honestly, I would suggest, if this person's here, try and find another church for your child to do it. Like, I know that sounds weird. Like, try and actively, like, your daughter is probably not in the best church. Like, try and find another church for them. Because, like, yeah, they've got a faith and you want to support it. Honestly, the best way you could probably support it is changing the church out. And I know that sounds And I don't know if he'll do that or not, because I know it probably might not be your prerogative, but like, legitimately, your best choice is finding another church for them, because that's not a healthy environment to be in. Oh, who knows? Maybe dad's like, oh, the thing, and the church comes back and like the church goes, no, like, what? We were talking about the 13-year. Why is the? And in which case, if that's the case, and there's another part of the story where the church comes back and is like, why are the 7-year-old wanting to do this and doesn't accept that? Then I'd be much happier, because then the church is doing something right, because the church should be fostering, like, wanting to do it at that age is good, but you shouldn't be allowed to do it at that age, if that makes sense. Like, as you said, you got religious trauma. And a lot of people get religious trauma, and there needs to be a good church will put back in checks to make sure that shit like that's not happening. A good church will do everything in their power to avoid religious trauma happening, and that means that sometimes that means putting an age gap in it. It's just putting that age barrier in there, going, you can't do this until you're older. You can't do this because the moment you do this, in the eyes of the church, the moment you do that, you are seen as an adult. So we're going to wait a few years to do it, because, and sure, and who knows, maybe it might be different in other churches, but I know in our denomination, the moment I did that, I am treated as an adult. I am a full-fledged adult. Like, yeah, and it has made things weird for me, because then from the age of 14, I've been in realms of church, I've been considered adult, but I've only actually started, which is really weird, because I'm gonna be turning like 20 soon, and it's like, and it's only in the last 2 years that I realized I never really, in the eyes of the church, in my eyes, and from that moment, I started treating myself like an adult, and I never really got to treat myself like a kid, and I kind of regret that. And part of me wishes I could actually go back in time, because as much as it was fun doing those things and being a part of and having those experiences of being an adult in church, I regret it, because I was an adult in church, and church was my safe place, and it stopped me from being a kid in real life as well. And that wasn't anyone putting that pressure on me. That was a pressure within myself. So it's like, no. Just no. You the moment you do this, you're an adult, and a 7-year-old should never have to feel like an adult in any way, ever. It's the first adult decision you'll ever make, and it's not something that should be taken. Meaning, it's definitely, like, honestly, there are times when I feel like I was too young. And I really wanted it, and I will never regret making that decision, but I was too young. Like, that is a, oh my goodness, that is weird saying, like, that was the best decision of my life. Becoming a Christian, best decision. I will never change it. But gosh, if I could go back in time and tell myself to just let myself not be an adult for a few more years, I would take every chance with that. So yeah,